from violent video games, which I can tell you right now, I fully believe play a role in these type of tragic situations, to the culture that has evolved surrounding the glorification of gangs and of violence and of lyrics to songs that espouse violence, social norms that have changed, where there is a glorification, and it hardens the heart, if you will.
Another day in America, and another day with a senseless act of violence that will leave thousands traumatized, all because a few corporations want to rake in profits so they can continue bribing politicians like the ones representing the people of Georgia to put money over human life.
Is there any more your office can do to prevent shootings like this?
But today is not the day for politics or policy. Today is the day for an investigation to mourn these precious Georgians that we have lost, to thank the first responders that went, into the line of fire. And that's what the focus needs to be on tonight. I would ask everybody to continue to keep this community, these victims, and these educators and these men and women in law enforcement in your thoughts and prayers.
It is so maddening to see another politician throw out the useless line about now is not the time for policy, but rather the time for thoughts and prayers. I'm sorry, how many times are we going to have to hear it's a time for thoughts and prayers when we continue to see school shootings or mass shootings in this country? They have never worked to prevent school shootings or mass shootings. Like, what are we doing here? It's to avoid responsibility. Is the right time 2 weeks after the shooting? A month after? No, it's never right time, because you're not interested in actually preventing these traumatizing events, these tragedies from happening. And Brian Kemp, let's be clear, he's far from the only Georgia Republican responsible for increasing the likelihood of a tragedy like this happening.
Now I'm doing a gun giveaway of my own, but for Americans only. I want you to win this .50 caliber rifle that Democrats will ban if they keep the House next year.
Enter the one and only Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has on multiple occasions prominently featured firearms in her previous campaign ads and has literally campaigned on eliminating and blocking gun control policies, which surely played a key role in her decision to engage in this disgusting stunt after first getting elected to Congress.
If Scott Peterson, the resource officer at Parkland, had done his job, then Nicholas Cruz wouldn't have killed anybody in your high school, or at least protected them. Why are you supporting red flag gun laws that attack our Second Amendment rights? And why are you using kids to get to as a barrier?
Moscow Mars chased down and harassed Parkland school shooting survivor and gun control activist David Hogg for meeting with members of Congress and trying to bring attention to common sense gun law reforms. Again, she harassed this man who was a school shooting survivor, all because he was meeting with members of Congress to try to make this society, this country better when it came to gun laws.
You are using your lobby and the money behind it and the kids to try to take away my Second Amendment rights. Why do you use kids? Why kids? You know, if school zones were protected with security guards with guns, there would be no mass shootings at schools. And he's a coward. He can't say one word because he can't defend his stance.
As expected, the thoughts and prayers and crocodile tears came flowing from Marge, even rehashing the bogus talking point that we need more good guys with guns to stop the bad guys with guns. It's childish, reductive, and inherently increases the likelihood of someone getting shot when more guns are in a given area. But what more do you expect from the party that is held captive by the gun lobby and gun manufacturers?
The reality is, Dan, we need to protect our kids in school the same way that Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and all politicians are protected, the same way we protect gold and precious jewels, the same way we protect a lot of money. And that's good guys with guns. And we always need to make sure we support our Second Amendment and not disarm legal gun owners simply because a madman with a gun chose to go in and murder people. Murder's been around since the beginning of time, and murder will continue.
Georgia doesn't have background checks. It doesn't have purchase permit laws. Teachers are allowed to carry guns in K through 12. We don't know if that was the situation here. They do not have red flag laws. It does not ban, Georgia, high-capacity weapons. It doesn't require any secured gun storage. Gun owners have to be at least 21, but there's nothing that doesn't allow a parent, a friend, to gift someone young a gun.
During my 4 years, nothing happened, and there was great pressure on me having to do with guns. We did nothing. We didn't yield. And once you yield a little bit, that's just the beginning. That's the avalanche begins. It's just horrible to see that happening. That's just horrible. So surprising to see it here. But we have to get over it. We have to move forward.
The intersection of gun violence with the gun industry and right-wing politicians truly maddens me, because we don't have to be in this position. We don't at all. We don't have to see parents bury their children who are in high school or in elementary school. But because politicians, in this case, right-wing politicians, they value profit and greed over human life, that's why we are where we are. Because they don't care about our children. They don't care about them feeling safe. Again, we're the only nation where this happens. And what's the common denominator? A gun. If it were up to me, I wouldn't have any guns, right? But that's not realistic. So what we should be doing is enacting stricter gun control laws that are going to make sure or enhance the likelihood that the people who do have guns are the ones who are going to act with some sense. Okay? But nah, we can't do that, because so many people just care about the money, the dollar, helping out the NRA, gun lobbyists. I hope you sleep well at night for the people who do that, because you obstructing the attempts by good faith politicians to have gun control, yeah, it's sickening to say the least. For Rebel HQ, I'm Chris Williamson. We'll see you next time.